You're listening right now, and maybe this isn't an accident. When the universe wants to send a message, it always chooses the right moment and the right person. And today, that person is you. Some calls only echo once, then fade away. But some return, louder, sharper, more urgent, like a sacred bell that demands your heart to listen. This is that moment. The moment your soul cannot ignore because something is about to change forever. And if you're ready to walk this journey with me, we will begin right where the very first call was heard. Aries, when you sit still and listen, let your heart grow quiet like a lake after the wind has passed. In that silence, there is a sound distant yet so close. It isn't the voice of a person. It isn't the whisper of memory. It is the call of the universe, of God, from the deepest part of your soul. And what matters most is this: it is not the first time. This is the second. A first call can be ignored. You might dismiss it as coincidence or a fleeting emotion. But when it returns, when it rises again, louder, more insistent, it becomes destiny, like a bell ringing through the night, striking the very fibers of your heart, reminding you that the road you're on cannot go on the same way forever. There is a turning point, a door opening, and you are being invited to walk through it. Think back, Aries. How many times have you carried the weight in silence? How many times have you said, "I'm fine," just so no one would worry? How many times have you buried pain in your chest until it became a sigh no one else could hear? Today, you need to know this. Every tear you ever shed was heard. Not one fell without meaning. The universe witnessed them all, and the universe chose this very moment to remind you. You cannot keep ignoring the call inside you. This call is not here to frighten you. It is here to awaken you. It is gentle but firm. It whispers and commands that you can't keep running from yourself. Aries was born to walk a fiery path of your own, not to hold up walls built by others. And when God calls your name a second time, it means time is no longer endless. There is a moment to seize, and that moment is now. Have you ever felt the universe calling you more than once? A dream that keeps repeating, a feeling you can't explain, a small event that echoes like a bell across your life. These are not accidents. They are emphasis, the way the universe taps the rhythm, to remind you your journey has a sacred direction. And if you keep turning away, life will always find another way to place you face to face with it. Aries, I want you to pause with me. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Feel it in this moment, the call echoing through your heartbeat. It isn't from the outside. It comes from within, from the soul that has been waiting too long for you to finally listen. You don't need the answer right away. All you need is to admit the call exists, that you hear it. And from that recognition, an entirely new chapter of your life will begin to open. In Buddhist teaching, there is a simple truth. No one can run forever from their karma, and no one can escape the call of their own heart. Because in the end, every road you walk, every turn you choose, will always lead you back to yourself. This second call is not a threat. It is a gift, a chance given once more, to pause, to release, and to step onto the path that was always yours. Do not call it coincidence. Do not think you heard this by accident. There are no accidents, only the perfect timing of something sacred arriving when you need it most. When your spirit is tired, when your shoulders can no longer bear the load, when your dreams feel like they are fading. That is when the call returns, like a flame flickering back to life in the night, reminding you that the light has never abandoned you. And now, I want to invite you, whoever is listening, share with me in the comments. Have you ever felt the universe calling you more than once? Have you ever thought you missed it, only to realize the message came back around? Don't be afraid to write it down, because when you share, you don't just set yourself free. You help another soul realize they are not alone. Aries, if the first call could be ignored, the second one demands you look again, because sometimes the very burdens you carry are the key to understanding the call itself. And when you realize that, you'll see the universe never came to weigh you down. It came to give you the chance to let go, to see what truly belongs to you and what was never yours to hold. There are burdens we think we have to carry, just because our hearts are too wide, too warm to leave someone behind. But tell me, how many times on your journey have you taken on responsibilities that were never yours? Things others should have learned to face, to walk through on their own, but somehow they became iron weights hanging silently on your shoulders. I feel it in you like a flame trapped inside a cage of steel. You still burn, you still shine, but so much of that light is drained just to hold together things that were never truly yours. People look at you and think, you're strong. But strength does not mean carrying everything. True strength is knowing what to hold on to and what to let go. How many nights have you collapsed into bed hoping sleep would bring relief, only to wake up heavier, more exhausted than the day before? How many times have you smiled so brightly for the world, while deep down a quiet voice whispered, "Why do I have to carry so much?" That isn't weakness. That is your soul reminding you you've wandered too far from your own path. Think back. How many times have you pushed your own dreams to the bottom of the list, just to take care of someone else first? How many times have you buried your fatigue so your loved ones wouldn't worry? How many times have you set aside your own vision, your own desires, your own fire, to solve problems that never came from your heart? Those are the burdens that were never yours, and when carried too long, they turn into habit, until you start to believe that is life. In the old teachings, there's a beautiful image. The bamboo only sprouts new shoots once it's free of the dead branches weighing it down. The same is true for you. Your soul can only grow when you dare to release the responsibilities that no longer belong, because real love is not about holding everything. It's about giving what you truly have to the place that truly needs it. Ask yourself this: is the light within you shining on the right people, the right things? Or is it being drained by what doesn't deserve it? A relationship that only leaves you anxious, a job that steals your life without giving you joy, an expectation from family or society you never chose. All of these are burdens that were never yours. This isn't a call to abandon responsibility. It's an invitation to discern. Because only when you know what truly belongs to you can you give your love, your devotion, your fire fully and freely. Otherwise, you're only burning out, until one day your flame is nothing but ashes. So I want you to pause and ask yourself, what is one burden I've been carrying that was never truly mine? Write it down, be honest with yourself, because sometimes naming the burden is already half the release. You deserve to live lighter. You deserve to wake up to a morning where your shoulders are free, your heart can breathe, and your mind has space for the dreams still waiting. God never intended for you to live as a silent mule of burdens. He created you to live as a torch, to give light, to warm, to guide, not to wither. Imagine this. When you put down what was never yours, space opens in your life, and that space becomes fertile ground for something new to grow. You lose nothing. You're only making room for what truly belongs to you. So this time, instead of asking, "What more do I need to do?" ask yourself, what do I need to let go of? Maybe it's an old promise, a stale expectation, or the habit of pretending you're fine, because only when your hands are free can you finally receive the gift that was always meant for you. And then you'll see. When the burden drops, the light within you bursts alive, brighter than ever, like a flame freed from its cage of iron. Not only does it shine, it warms the ones shivering around you. That is your true strength. I want to leave a pause here for you to listen. Maybe a face, a memory, a name comes to mind. Don't push it away. Let it rise. That is your soul's way of saying it's time to release. And when you do, when you dare to choose the lighter path, you'll discover a strange but holy truth. Every time you move closer to your true dream, resistance will appear. And that resistance itself is the proof that you are finally walking in the right direction. There are moments in life when you look around and it feels like everything is against you. Plans fall apart just as they begin. Doors you thought were opening suddenly slam shut. Even your health, your spirit, and the relationships closest to you somehow turn into heavy burdens. And you may have asked yourself, why is all of this happening at once? Why, the moment I decide to move forward, does it feel like the whole world is pulling me back? But listen with your heart, this is not punishment. It is a sign. When the light starts to rise, the darkness will always try to hold on. In Buddhist teaching, there is a simple but profound truth. The closer you get to the gate of liberation, the stronger the obstacles become. And in Scripture, God reminds us, those who carry their cross on the right path will face trials. The conflict, the delays, the chaos, they are not random. They are proof that you are moving closer to what is sacred, what was destined for you. Think back. How many times in your life did it seem like the universe turned its back on you, only for you to realize later that very season of struggle lifted you to a higher place? Nights that felt endless until one morning the sunrise was brighter than ever. That was never coincidence, because without the rising wind, how would the sail ever know it was truly heading out to sea? I know, When resistance comes, your heart feels unsettled. You may think you've made a mistake. You may believe you're being punished. You may feel you're not good enough to continue. But the truth is, you are exactly where you're meant to be. If this path weren't important, why would the universe, why would the darkness, why would the trials fight so hard to stop you? They only resist when you are close to something great. This is the hidden gift in the struggle. Each obstacle is not there to break you, but to build you. Like a flame that meets the wind, it doesn't go out, it burns brighter. Like faith itself, only proven strong when it has walked through doubt. Allow yourself to believe this. God has never abandoned you in the chaos. He is there in the cracks of the wall, in every broken breath, in every tear that falls. He never leads you into the desert to leave you, but to show you the sweet water already flowing within your soul. And when you come through, you will not be the same person you were before. So pause with me. Close your eyes. Remember a moment when you faced heavy resistance just as you were about to reach something important. Maybe it was work. Maybe it was love. Maybe a personal journey. How did you move through it? And what did you learn from it? I invite you to share in the comments. Have you noticed resistance appearing right when you're about to take a step forward? Because when you write it down, you're not only reminding yourself, you may inspire another soul walking the very same road. Don't fear the chaos, Aries. See it as the drumbeat announcing you are on the right path. See it as God's hand on your shoulder, whispering you are close to what you prayed for. See it as the mirror reflecting the strength that has always lived inside you. And then you'll realize a beautiful truth. Each time you break through resistance, a new layer of light opens, a deeper layer of your soul, a wider layer of love, a higher layer of understanding. This is the reward for your persistence. So when it feels like everything is pushing you back, remember, the strongest waves always rise just before they touch the shore. And when you step through, you'll discover, on the other side of resistance, a rebirth of your soul is waiting brighter than anything you ever imagined. There are moments in life when you look back and find yourself standing in a barren field. Everything seems lost, a love that once burned bright, a project you poured your whole heart into, a dream that once set your eyes on fire. And then one day, all of it feels extinguished, leaving only cold ashes. Maybe in despair, you've whispered to yourself, maybe it's over. Maybe that flame will never return. But let me tell you this, nothing in your soul ever truly dies. Death is only a shell, a transformation, a pause preparing for rebirth on a higher level, like winter stripping the trees bare. Yet beneath the frozen soil, seeds are still breathing, waiting for the sun to rise again. God has never abandoned you. He never allows something to end unless it makes way for something greater. When a door closes, it isn't to trap you in darkness, but to guide you toward a brighter way out. And when a dream falls silent, it isn't dead, it's waiting for a new form, a deeper root, a higher place to be born again. Do you remember how it felt the first time you believed in something? The rush in your heartbeat, the fire in your eyes, the energy filling your whole body. That was your inner flame. It has never gone out. It only quieted, waiting for one breath of faith to rise again. And maybe right now, as you hear these words, this is the moment God breathes new wind into your flame. I want you to understand this. No loss is ever wasted. A broken love may leave a scar, but that scar teaches you to love more wisely, more deeply. A failed project may stop you in your tracks, but it teaches you how to build a stronger foundation for what's coming next. An unfinished dream may bring silent tears, but those tears soften the ground so the seeds of new dreams can grow. Aries, you thought your fire was gone, but the truth is it never left. It has only been waiting for you to choose to believe again. Just one breath of faith, one quiet yes in your heart, and that fire will blaze once more, not only warming you, but those around you who need your light. Pause for a moment. Listen to your heart. What dream is knocking at your door again? Maybe it's a love you thought was gone but now returns, healed and more mature. Maybe it's a job, a project you once missed but now it shows up with wider possibilities. Or maybe it's a new version of yourself, braver, freer, shining brighter than ever. I want to invite you to share. What dream of yours feels like it's ready to come back to life? Write it down. Because when you put it into words, you plant the seed into the soil of reality, and someone listening beside you may realize their dream is also waiting to be reborn. Believe this, everything you thought had ended was only preparing you for a deeper chapter. Like music, the low note isn't the end. It's clearing the way for the soaring melody about to begin. And the next chapter of your life, Aries, will be the song your soul has been waiting for. When you allow rebirth to happen, you will not be who you were before. You won't just live again, you will live higher, with eyes that see clearer, with a heart that loves deeper, with a faith that stands stronger. That is the gift hidden inside every loss, to rise again with new light within you. And to find this path of rebirth, you cannot rely on logic alone. You need a deeper compass, a gentle, steady whisper inside. That is your intuition, the true guide that leads you when everything else feels uncertain. On this long journey of life, there are stretches with no signs, no footprints left by those before you, no map already drawn. You stand at crossroads, many roads look right. Each one has its reason to try. But deep inside, you know not all of them were meant for you. So what will point you to the true way forward? Not the noise out there, not the advice that sometimes feels out of place, but intuition, the whisper God placed in your heart the moment you were born. Intuition is not loud. It doesn't fight for your attention. It comes like a gentle breath, like a breeze stirring the branches, like a flash of light that makes you pause mid-step. Sometimes you call it a gut feeling. Sometimes you think it's coincidence. But the truth is, intuition is the compass, the sacred instinct that keeps you from getting lost in life's maze. Aries often acts on impulse, burning with passion, charging ahead with God-given courage. But even the fiercest flame needs the right wind to light up the whole sky. In this season, it's not speed, it's not stubbornness. Your true strength is intuition. It doesn't push you to run faster. It reminds you to walk in the right direction. Pay attention. When you enter a relationship and your heart feels peace, no anxiety, no doubt, that is true love. When you face an opportunity and your chest feels lighter, like a weight has lifted off your shoulders, that is the door you were meant to walk through. But if something drains you, empties your energy, even when logic has 1,000 reasons to hold on, your heart already knows it's time to let go. Peace is the highest measure of truth. This is not an invitation to drift through life or to trust feelings blindly. It is a reminder to learn how to listen to the voice within. Logic can analyze, but intuition feels the truth. Logic sees the surface. Intuition sees the root. And when you begin to trust that compass, you'll realize God never left you wandering. He placed within you the guiding needle, so you could always find your way home. Maybe you've ignored your intuition before. You chose logic or someone else's advice. And later you sighed, if only I had listened to my heart from the beginning. Remember, no missed moment is wasted. Each mistake only trains you to recognize that voice more clearly, more powerfully. Ask yourself, have you learned to trust your inner compass even when logic says otherwise? The answer might surprise you, and when you write it down honestly, you'll see intuition has always been there, waiting for your trust. If life feels unclear right now, sit down in silence. Place your hand over your heart and ask, what brings me peace? Take a deep breath, listen to the stillness. Don't expect words. Intuition doesn't speak like people do. It speaks in feelings, in ease and release, in the lightness that flows through every breath. And when you dare to walk guided by that compass, you will discover something wondrous. The Aries fire within you is not just to flare up and fade. It is a fire with true power, a flame meant to light the sky, to guide not only yourself, but also those who are searching for a light to find their way home. In every human journey, there comes a moment when we realize true strength is not found in gritting our teeth and carrying the weight. It's in the ability to rise again, to turn pain into light, and then use that very light to guide someone else. How many times did you think you had fallen for good, only to find yourself still standing, with deeper eyes, a kinder heart, and a vitality you never knew was there? Aries, the fire within you is not only to warm yourself. The universe did not place that flame in your chest for you to hide in silence. It was born to light up a generation, to ignite hearts that have grown cold, to inspire souls that thought their faith was gone. Every tear you swallowed in silence, every wound you wrapped alone, they have become living witnesses to a strength no one can take away. Look back. You once thought you were just a small being in this vast universe. But every time you stood up after falling, every time you chose forgiveness over hate, every time you chose love instead of indifference, you created waves of energy that reached far beyond what you could see. That is true strength. Not loud, not boastful, but unstoppable. This power was not given for you just to survive. It was given so you could live fully, meaningfully, as a symbol of resilience and light. When you realize that, you'll see that every hardship was never a curse, but a test shaping you into a torch. No wind can ever extinguish a flame that knows how to burn from within. Pause with me here and ask yourself, what is one hidden strength you've discovered in your hardest moments? When you write it down, you'll see the places you thought were your ending were the very places you found a new part of yourself, stronger, wiser, more loving. Never forget your strength is not born from avoiding pain, but from walking through it with open eyes and an open heart. That's what makes you unshakable. God has given you more than the ability to survive. He gave you the power to make your life a living inspiration for everyone around you. You don't need to shout to prove you are strong. Your strength shows in patience when others give up, in gentleness when others choose anger, in steady eyes when everyone else is uncertain. That is your inner power, a power no one can take away. And remember, light never belongs to just one lamp. When you ignite yourself, you ignite others. That is why your flame exists, not just to remind you that you're alive, but to show the world that even in the darkest night, there is still a light that cannot be put out. So now let that strength flow outward. Don't hide it. Don't carry it as if it's yours alone. Let that light become your language to the world, the language of faith, of love, of renewal. And now, as you step into your own power, this second urgent call becomes the decisive moment, opening the final door your soul has been waiting for all along. There are moments in life that can't be delayed any longer. We've gone through the same circles. We've tried to endure, to wait, to cling to what feels familiar. But then comes a moment when the heart knows delay only stretches the suffering. It only wears down the fire inside us. And when the call rises within you for the second time, it is no longer a gentle reminder. It is the decisive moment. Right now, two paths stand before you. One leads you back to old burdens, the wounds, the memories, the chains you've carried far too long. That road feels familiar, even safe. But deep down, you know it only leads back into the dark. The other path is the door to a new chapter, the one that asks you to release everything that no longer belongs to you. It may scare you. It may make your heart race because it means stepping into the unknown, but only when you open that door do you truly step into rebirth. In Scripture, God once said, "I set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life." Those words weren't just for long ago. They are alive in every moment you face a choice. God doesn't force you. He places the door in front of you, but it's your hand that must turn the key. And when you choose, the whole universe shifts to carry your steps. Aries, if you feel this call in your heart, know this: the universe is reaching out, waiting for you to take its hand. You don't need to know everything in advance. You don't need the guarantee that you will never stumble. You only need one thing: courage. The courage to let go, the courage to step forward, the courage to believe that a new chapter is waiting on the other side. Let your heart be light like a bird freed from its cage. Let your eyes shine like the sunrise breaking after a long night. Let your soul be free, because that is why you came to this world. Not to stay locked in the dark, but to burn in the light. You may think you're not ready, but the truth is, none of us are ever fully ready. We only become who we are meant to be when we choose, when we step, when we allow the fire inside our heart to lead the way. And when you choose to release, you're not only setting yourself free, you're opening a path for those around you to see that freedom is real, that joy is real, that rebirth is real. So let me ask you to pause and reflect. What decision are you ready to make today for your soul's freedom? When you speak it, it's not just words. It's a covenant with your soul, a sacred mark the day you chose to truly live. And now, as this journey comes to its close, I want to rest here with you for a moment of silence. Breathe in, breathe out, and know this: you have listened, you have felt, you have been called. Now only one step remains: the step into the light. Thank you, Aries, for letting me walk beside you through this sacred message. May your path be clear, may your fire stay bright, and may peace find you in every step you take.